okay.
Yes.
So what is even happening in the news today?
Well, we need to wait for the stream to actually start recording, because I think it takes up to about 30 seconds.
My right
Yeah,
ear is
I don't know
ringing.
why in previous versions it used to it started recording immediately, but nowadays with this version and all, it, yeah, like I said, it takes like 30 seconds for the recording to actually start.
So are you using, what is it? Are you using Clip Studio to actually do the, or not, OBS Studio?
I'm using OBS Studio.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I can trim the episode with the YouTube editor. So I can just upload the episode.
Wait,
and
do you actually just do you seriously do no editing at all? You just dump it on YouTube and use its editor?
That's Artrix for ya.
Yeah, but before you say anything, I only publish.
You own a copy of CS Master Studio, don't you?
I don't think he even renders it anymore. He just plops it on YouTube and lets it deal with it.
Hmm.
You know, if you don't want your license, I can gladly take it.
I use it for other purposes. Don't worry about it.
Pretty sure he does use Photoshop.
And that too.
Photoshop
So
is
that,
great.
so yeah, that
he owns it, not that he uses it.
But I do use it. I use it on an almost daily basis.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Oh no, you didn't upload it yet.
Yeah.
I wanted to use...
Okay, well, since it's this week in this current year, I think this would be appropriate. I'm gonna need this. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the least professional podcast on the internet, which is Radio Rothingham. Sup?
Really?
Hello.
Hello. Today I'm going to draw Symmetra because of reasons, and also completely draw her, but I'm just gonna draw again, I guess. And
but completely symmetrically to the old drawing.
yeah, which means that I'm going to trace it perfectly, so it'll be symmetrical to the original drawing. You see, it's symmetrical, but
Symmetrical.
yeah, symmetrical. God fucking damn it!
If it was symmetrical, it would be, you know, mirrored.
Yes, but you know, they're symmetrical in the sense that if you put them next to each other on perpendicular planes, then never mind. Anyway, I'm sure they're.
On perpendicular planes, then they are going to crash to perpendicular towers.
I want you to create a logo that has perpendicular lines that are parallel to each other, and it needs to be all red. But can you put a blue line in there?
Hang on, I'll just get into fifth dimensional space and I'll have that fixed for you right away.
Okay, well, good. Have it on my desk next thing in the morning. Anyways, it is yours truly, the Artrix. We got Panboy.
Nope.
That's him. We got some. We also got Symmetra. We also got Xaverius.
Who?
That's Xaverius. We got Astra. The Astra.
No.
And we got our token German, the Bakphoon.
Guten Tag.
Sehr gut. Ich will spielen Euro Tournament. And we also got Sekele for Eastern European.
Slovakia is not Eastern.
It is now.
Middle Europe, but I doubt anyone in the West knows the difference.
Exactly. I'm someone of the West, and I don't fucking care. It's all the same to me. So.
I could explain it if you wanted to.
No, I don't need to. Anyways, let's dive right into the shitstorm that was this week in Stupid, and Sargon, don't sue me, because okay, well, I've just been sued by Sargon, but I also just told him to fuck off, and he just said lol.
You instantly won the court.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I had to do was claim citizenship to Kyrgyzstan, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight my own brother. It's all cool, man. It's all cool." So
I'm not going to fight the entire chaos magic on the internet.
not really. So, as it turns out, it's perfectly okay to punch a Nazi.
As you should.
And a Nazi is everyone who disagrees with you.
Exactly. Wait, what?
That's true. A Nazi is anyone who disagrees with me. Or you.
With you specifically.
Especially if they have a green frog on their label.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially if you got a Pepe. That makes them a super Nazi. I mean, Nazi.
Yeah.
I mean,
super Nazi.
You know, I go to the supermarket, I go to the freezer section, and it's got Nazi all over the place. Like, god fucking damn it, they're everywhere. And it's also fucking delicious.
I agree.
Especially small ones.
I'm not even sure what we're talking about anymore. But
it's a Dutch snack called Nazi. It's a joke. It kind of sounds like Nazi, but you know, with.
Oh, I don't understand humor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and also the irony is extra because there's two S's in it, because you know SS is Nazi division. Very clever. So.
Good joke. Good joke. Well made. I agree.
GG. 10 out of 10. Anyway, so Milo Yiannopoulos was like, hey, I'm going to do a little talk. I'm just gonna open mouth and words are going to come out of it, and maybe someone will actually form some coherent thoughts. But
opening your mouth is punishable by law, I'm sure.
Well, apparently it is, because it was a big fucking riot just outside, and I guess people almost died, and also their shops were burned, and defenseless dudes were beaten up by Antifa flags and anarcho-communist flags, and probably anarcho-feminist flags, because that's apparently a thing. And it was all very pleasant. And it sure makes me very, very glad to be part of this planet. How about you guys?
Oh yeah, I'm loving it all.
Absolutely.
Best part, it happened on the first day of Black History Month, and they burned down the Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Student Union building or something like that. It was called.
Did they actually burn down an entire building?
Well, they set it on fire.
Okay, so.
Well, yeah. Well, we all know that Building 7 also burned due to fire. So there we go.
Why do we have a Black History Month? Most people get a day.
Yeah.
Like the Irish.
Well,
it's the shortest month of the year, so.
Because the blacks were obviously oppressed much more than any other race, so
that's what they want you to believe.
It's obviously true.
Well, the truly oppressed race is blue people. I mean, just look at Widowmaker. She's so oppressed.
Agreed.
That's why she needs to snipe everyone all the time.
Look at the Blumen group. Look at the Blumen group. They have to.
Man, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, okay. Let Beck speak. Come on. Once we go.
Also, yeah, always blue-skinned people also like the Blumen group, which is always held captive and has to do shows to entertain people. Yeah, entertainment slaves.
Oh no.
Oh God, the media is keeping people slave to entertain us.
I see no problem.
Me neither, actually. Yeah, that's fine.
Also, it was also very telling that the police, you know, they didn't exactly go out and try and stop anyone. They didn't do nothing.
There's a rumor going around that the mayor of the town instructed the police not to intervene. They
basically did. They were specifically told to stand down. From what I gather.
That's insane.
It
The
is.
Americans are going insane.
They were going insane for at least 4 years by this point.
Yes, but it's getting really, really torturously dumb.
We're basically witnessing like, well,
We're
The large-
witnessing the fall of American civilization.
And it is not Trump's fault.
It really isn't.
This time around.
I mean, yeah, say what you want about Trump, but this is these specific people making the shit show about communism, I guess. Oh yeah, and Milo's mini pants.
You
So-
do, by the way, realize that Milo is a Jewish gay guy who dates a black man.
My
Pretty
God.
much. That obviously makes a
He must
Nazi.
be a Nazi, yeah.
Mhm.
It's gotta be. Like, I can't imagine why those facts would change the notion of him being a Nazi. It's not like Nazis don't like the Jews or black people. That's absurd. Who wouldn't like Jews and black people?
So yeah, obviously he's a Nazi. So it makes me think, which is quite terrible in and of itself. But so you got these Antifa people, right? Which I think are very swell and wonderful individuals. So it makes me wonder, what would their ideal civilization look like? Like what's their end goal? What sort of world do they wish to live in?
Well, first off, all white people are dead.
I don't think I can get on board on that for the simple fact that I am white.
Wouldn't that include most of the Antifa people?
That too.
No, they are
Well, to be fair, they would probably voluntarily be slaughtered.
True.
No. Don't you see? They are transracial.
Oh. Well, in that case, I'm trans blueberry. So
No, I don't eat trans fats. I'm sorry, they're bad for you.
Oh.
Or at least I read that in a dieting book somewhere at some point.
So yeah, I'm trans blueberry, and all I need to do now is just become really good at sniping, and then my transformation will be complete.
Blueberries snipe?
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, I need to learn to speak French fluently and not like the bastardization of French that I know today.
Blueberry Wesley Snipes?
You know French. That's terrible.
Ooh la la! Yeah, I know French. Just by saying that one phrase,
C'est
yeah.
terrible.
You've triggered me so hard right now.
Fred.
Non, je ne parle pas français.
No, stop it.
Yeah, I know. That really helped me in France, by the way, just knowing that one phrase. No, I was just walking around in France, going to a random store, and they said something friends were like, non, je ne parle pas français. Just little bit. You know, gotta say it in a French accent or they won't understand. I mean, God forbid if you speak RP, that they wouldn't be able to comprehend. But if you have like this faux French accent in English,
Just a little imperfect.
you know, if we go up to the Frenchman and say, "Good day, sir. Could you please direct me to the nearest educational facility?" They would be flabbergasted. But if you say, "Oh, can you refer me to the École?" That would not be a problem. They would perfectly understand you.
Artrix, they are French, they wouldn't know it. Maybe if you ask about the fromagerie.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Or
you're saying the one phrase in French I learned in school isn't useful? Où est la bibliothèque? Because the French don't know how to read. That's what I'm hearing.
Do they have bibliotheques?
Well, the funny thing about that is that the Dutch word for library is also bibliotheek, but you know, not pronounced retardedly.
Yeah. Sure.
Biblioteca. That's how we call bookstores. Well,
Fascinating.
Just like
biblioteca.
because we don't steal French words that much anymore.
No,
We
you
also say
well,
Ever since they betrayed us.
the interesting thing about that is that from what I gather, the Czech people seem to have the tendency to invent their own word for just about anything, which ironically makes them a lot like the French. Because the French also insist on creating a new word, even though there's a perfectly fine word in some other language.
That happened back in the time when let's call it Czech, was a officially dead language, and only uneducated, unwashed masses spoke it. Everybody else was German, and a bunch of hipsters was like, let's get some words together and put it in a dictionary, just out of curiosity. And then it became a hipster trend to talk with it, and then suddenly it was resurrected.
So, in other words, you're saying that the Czech Republic kind of did the same thing as Ireland, except it actually worked?
Oh God, it working somewhere. That's dreadful news.
At least not all the proposed words were used, thankfully.
Same with Slovak language, only that we have no problems taking words from other languages.
I mean, the word for handkerchief, it's a evergreen.
So what's the Artrix in Slovak?
The word for Artrix, the word for handkerchief, originally in Czech was supposed to be čistá nasupena, which literally just means clean nose cloth. Because they were used to speak in German, which just mashes all the words together to make one mega word.
Well, that's not something unique to German. I mean,
and they were like, okay, France, we like you. We are borrowing some words. And then there was the 1938, and France was like, maybe we don't help you. And then we were like, well, that's not very nice. We don't like you now.
Well, France was sort of having, a war, I guess. So,
No, they weren't having war. That's the problem. They're like, well, maybe if we don't help you, then there won't be war. And then there was war. And Churchill was like, yeah, told you, you deserve it.
lol, you war.
Yeah.
Kek. And that's how the Great Kekian War of...
And that way we get back to Nazis, by the way.
Yes, by the way, yeah. We should at least try to stay on topic. I know we're the least professional podcast on the internet, but at least we at least should try. but yeah, this rhetoric of, well, I don't like your opinion and therefore I can classify you as a Nazi is something very dangerous going on right now, because we essentially went from using buzzwords like misogynist, racist, homophobe, and all the other isms and obes. We basically come down to the ultimate insult, which is just calling someone a Nazi, because no one wants to be called a Nazi. So the real question is, where do we go from here? We can be ahead of the curveball here. We can write history and come up with no label worse than being a Nazi.
I don't know, Artrix. I don't want to spoil your fun, but we've been calling people Nazis on the internet for the past 15 years at least.
But isn't it a rule that when you call someone a Nazi, you automatically lose the argument?
Yeah, Godwin's
Call
law.
somebody a Nazi, you become the Nazi.
Honestly, at the moment, the people who are calling people Nazis a lot on the internet are acting very much like Nazis.
Yeah.
They're calling everyone Nazis, and then they're telling everyone to go punch Nazis after they've labeled everyone as a Nazi. Pretty
They're
much
also
declaring open season on everyone.
But they're also kind of marching, down the street with a uniform and destroying information and...
Oh yeah, the suppression of free speech as well. That's
yeah,
all.
No, the Nazis didn't burn books or did suppress information. Not at all.
Of course not.
No. How could I even entertain that thought? I feel that was wrong thing. I should flog myself right now.
You should.
Yeah. But that sounds like effort, so I won't. Instead I'll be trolls. Well, do you actually you now expect me to do a thing? I mean, I'm too lazy to render the video, let alone, go out and inflict physical harm to myself.
You are just exploiting YouTube.
Yeah. I'm so lazy that I let YouTube do the heavy lifting for me.
My God. Surely that means that you spent all day uploading videos then.
Yep. That's actually my job. I've been lying to you guys all this time. My actual job is just to do nothing but upload videos to YouTube. I mean, they're the same video over and over and over again, but it's a video nonetheless.
Just like, the B movie, except every time they say B, they play the entire B movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, except that it's the B movie, except that every time you say the word, any word is mentioned, I draw Symmetra.
Yeah, that's a special kind of torture.
That is just cruel.
Poor B movie.
It's a great movie.
Not Symmetra.
It's an okay.
I went to see that movie in the cinema.
Me
and I
too.
went in-
That's the best thing about the B movie. I actually went to see it in cinemas. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was.
A train. I saw it on a train.
Well, we saw we played our favorite movie game, which we call Crouching Tiger, Hidden Naggin, where you have a shoulder of your spirit of your choice, and you hide it in your jacket, and every time something stupid happens in the movie, you take a drink. And since it was the B movie,
And now, who was it? Renée Zellweger, who was voicing the main female character. She sounded like drunk the entire fucking movie.
Well-
He was Seinfeld.
Can you really blame her?
I mean, she had to make that movie.
Exactly. She probably really needed the money. I'll take anything.
It's
What is this? A movie called B movie about a bunch of bees suing mankind? Whatever. I'll take it.
It's like that movie I encountered a few days ago, which is called Food Fight.
Oh wait, Tridgeon, you're not invited.
Oi.
It was in May.
Ah, fuck it, let him in.
years,
Yeah,
And-
come on, Tridgeon, we need an American.
and they actually
Your
had.
microphone switched off.
He's just listening and he's a spy. Are you a spy?
He is a spy. Anyway, the movie was in production for 10 years, and it's animated as you would expect from a 2003 video game.
Oh,
And
jeez.
it's quite possibly the movie that made Charlie Sheen to be completely insane.
I haven't seen it yet, but I saw some clips of it.
Yes, I sent you some.
You did. I didn't watch them.
You shouldn't.
I am aware they exist, though, and I think that's enough for anybody.
I watched nearly the entire thing. Story-wise, it's not worse or better or different from any animated or blockbuster movie these days. But my god, the animation and the jokes.
There's jokes. Are you sure?
They are very good attempts at very poor jokes.
Also, since we got
It's right down my alley.
our token American in here, what do you think about the very peaceful demonstrations, protests going on in America land right now?
You're talking about the ones that seem to start out with great intentions and end with people getting hit in the face with large pieces of metal.
Yes.
Yes.
What I believe are being referred to right now as the Berkley riots.
Yes.
Not the Bowling Green massacre.
Oh, that's another one. God,
Oh yeah, that is also a thing that happened, I guess.
I don't know about that one.
So what about that? Can you fill us in on that?
Is your entire country currently on fire?
It's basically all burning down right now.
Are you burning right now?
Currently, I am locked away in a fortified structure, clinging to my guns.
Oh,
That'll keep me safe.
You're in your
Killing
fallout.
your guns instead of going out and using them.
You're in your fallout shelter. You know that your great grandpa built during the Cold War, even though it was probably not your great grandpa, but more like your grandpa. He was like, "Them commies are coming."
People online keep telling me that I'm just contributing to the problem by not protesting every weekend. But it's kind of hard to do that when you have a job. So I'm wondering where all these people are coming from and how they can continue to protest every weekend.
Well, obviously that's their job. Their job is protester. That's why they're so fanatical.
There's plenty to protest about right now, but at the same time, there's a lot of real amateur hour stuff going on in the protest world. I don't think violent protests are going to get anybody anywhere, and they're just hurting the issues that are rightfully being brought up. But there's better ways to do it
than burning down your own town.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious thing is that people in the younger demographics need to register to vote and turn out in the numbers that they're turning out for right now and protesting. I mean, if they actually vote in people that they agree with, they'll actually get somewhere. Beating people in and rioting and violent protests are pretty ineffective historically.
What are you talking about? Punching people because you disagree with them is highly effective.
It certainly seems to be right now, anyway. Like, look at all those people and how much respect they've got from everyone.
Just punch them and call them a Nazi and then punch them because it's impeccable logic.
I have the feeling that the average American is stupid enough to agree with this.
No, really.
Because it seems so. I mean,
no, it's look, Sekele. You're confusing the American, the average American with what you hear and see on the mainstream media. Do keep in mind, this is the same mainstream media that said Hillary's gonna win. There's a 99.999999999% chance that she's gonna win. Well, they were definitely right about the 9 part, as in German word for no.
But I'm still kinda on the edge whether or not Trump was just a fluke or not.
Well, they were obviously very wrong.
He had a landslide victory in like 4 out of 5 battleground states.
But he still did not get the popular vote.
Battleground states? What are you, Australia?
Half the American presidents elected in recent years didn't get the popular vote. The system is set up in such a way that the popular vote doesn't matter.
It's also kind of 50-50 between Democrats and Republicans, apparently. For some time, I thought it was just Republicans that seemed to benefit from the system, but it's also Democrats. So the whole aspect of it's the Republicans. They're the ones that managed to win by these small margins. It doesn't hold up.
What's even more interesting is that the Electoral College, in the way it's set up, the landslide. I mean, the difference between winning by Electoral College and getting the popular vote can be much more exaggerated than these tiny margins of the difference between Electoral College and popular vote. Like right now, it's almost a dead heat between Republicans and Democrats in the popular vote, and what that's showing is vastly disproportionate numbers in the Electoral College in results. Hence, Electoral College-wise, Trump won by a landslide. Popular vote-wise, he actually lost by a tiny margin. It's possible to win the election with much less of a popular vote than the Republicans are even getting. This could be much more divided, rural versus city or big state versus little state than it is right now. But it is showing that trends are heading in that direction of a geographically divided country, as well as an ideologically one.
Well, it definitely is. I mean, one of the reasons the electoral college exists in the first place is that if it was purely based on a popular vote, all a candidate needs to do is just go to New York City and the San Franciscos and Chicago's and just hang out there and just say fuck you to all the other counties where basically no one lives, and totally done. It's quite relaxing actually. You just chill out in New York, maybe go to Starbucks, and spend 2 hours a day campaigning, and the rest of the day can be spent just doing nothing. Whereas in the current system, you'd actually need to convince all the states to vote for you. Les États-Unis, yeah, that's a little bit of French, Yeah.
Estados Unidos.
Well, that I guess it's kind of relevant in this election cycle.
And how does it look in other countries that aren't America? What kind of system have they? Like, for example, the Netherlands.
What about the Netherlands? Oh, the Netherlands is basically this. We all just go to the polls and we vote, and then they say, okay, this portion of the population voted this, so yes, this portion of parliament is going to be this party, and that portion voted that. It's basically a coalition system.
It's a much newer system. The election system that the U.S. has was cutting edge when the U.S. was founded, but politics has moved on. There are newer, more balanced systems.
That's also a reason for the electoral college, because rather than voting for president, you'd actually voted for your local representative, which would then go and elect for the president. The president, from what I gathered, never really had that much of a role in American politics until modern history. In the past, it was like, well, yeah, this guy is head of state, I guess. But I live.
Artrix, and then all those wars and stuff happened.
Yeah.
And they needed an army, politics.
Well, the biggest thing is influence
I
of nuclear weapons on modern politics.
Yes.
As
As for us, the last time we voted a president, it was actually a direct election where actual people went and voted for the president, and basically our version of Trump won, which is the best.
Wait, that's the president bit that basically said during his Christmas speech, "This country's ours, not yours."
He doesn't limit it to Christmas speeches.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
He also regularly gets drunk and yells at. He was famous for being very crass to press, calling them idiots.
She do.
It does sound like Trump.
And when he was still a normal politician, then he retired, and then he was like, "I'm bored. I'm going to candidate for president," and he won.
Isn't being president in Czech Republic akin to basically being Papa Smurf? Like, you don't have any actual political power, but you're the you're basically the king, but you're elected, so it's okay, I guess.
Yes, and you have all the power to cause controversies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Germany is a similar.
This is his favorite pastime.
I think Germany has a similar system where you got the chancellor who actually has political power, but you also have the president, and he's just sort of there to be, I don't know, sort of Germany's image to the world. Like,
he's more representative.
He's so representative that nobody ever heard of him.
I mean, he theoretically has the power to cancel some laws, and I think it was even used a few times.
He should cancel murrca.
Huh. It's like having royalty.
So is the president the executive branch of the German government, or what?
No.
Oh.
He's pretty much just representative.
No. Okay. The way you put it makes it sound pretty underwhelming, but so did mine. So.
Yeah, most presidents actually don't have much power in current systems. Like the Irish president is purely a figurehead. Doesn't really do anything either.
It's a good idea. Executive power has been kind of going out of control in the U.S. in a lot of
Really?
ways.
I don't know. It seems perfectly okay right now. I mean, we
Oh,
got a
God.
president who's in power and he's going into his offices and he's like saying, "I want this done," and everyone's saying, "You really maybe you should think about that a bit." And then he's saying, "No, do it now," and then it happens.
Yes, there potentially could be some good. He could do some really cool things. Not being a politician, being a lot less a part of the
Not
system.
being this person who never was a politician could do some really good things in politics.
Yes, because of that, he's not tied down to any. Well, we're seeing a lot of the bad side of that this last couple weeks, which is he has no idea what the hell he's doing, and isn't talking to his advisors, and isn't.
No, he wants to run the country like a business, so it works,
Yeah,
and it's the best for the country. Fuck
Well,
diplomacy.
he is getting the things done he said he wanted to get done.
this is true. That's, I guess, good. Well, I don't know. I mean, the problem is that things that he wants to get done include shutting down our borders and not accepting immigrants from places that he thinks is scary.
Actually, Obama made that list.
Yeah, Obama made the list. Trump is only using it.
Yeah, no, that was already a plan put in place by the Obama administration. Trump just implemented it.
Still,
I think I've got this shit figured out. Guys, hear me out. What if they just put a really generally unpopular and generally hated president that the media has done everything in its power to make look like the big boogeyman, so they could push really unpopular laws?
Oh my, that's genius.
Ooh.
But also there's actually I was reading on a news site, MRC TV, and they said that they'd had that the law or the executive order to limit immigration for Muslims did not in fact declare that every airport should be immediately shut down and stop allowing any Muslim with a green card through, and that it did the way it was implemented was a glorious over implementation of the proposed rules.
yes, I'll be very surprised if they don't deem the original implementation of the law unconstitutional, because I have no idea how what they did is possibly not unconstitutional, because they're denying a lot of these people were U.S. citizens, and they were being denied entry into the U.S. just because they had dual citizenship or a couple other reasons. It's awful.
Well, from what I'm reading, that's not how that was supposed to happen.
No, it was never supposed to happen that way, but that's how it happened. And that's how.
So what you're saying is that they're blocking access for U.S. citizens?
Yeah, and the way that it was originally allowed, some of the people blocked were U.S. citizens. Obviously, the vast majority were green card holders, people that were on work visas, or people just trying to vacation. But the way that it was implemented was nobody with a that held nationality in any of those countries would be allowed in, which includes dual citizenship holders. And I don't know, it's like it just seems so un-American. It's just like hard, like if
Well, that does sound like a
crazy
really retarded way of, I mean, if it's citizens that are not U.S. citizens or whatnot, a ban like that makes sense. But if you're gonna go around and deny access to, people that are citizens of your country, then you're doing something
That's an
wrong.
overreaction.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not how it was supposed to go down. The airports overreacted when they got the order. They were like, "Oh,
the order happened. It came down from Trump himself at like Friday afternoon, with no forewarning and with really unambiguous language about what they were supposed to do. They were following executive orders, and it wasn't their place to question them. And it was just awfully handled.
Good job.
So yeah, it was probably pushed through a bit too quickly.
Yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
you said, almost like what a CEO would do in a company.
He's like, get this done. Get it done now. Everyone's like, yes, sir, sir.
Yep.
And then it happened. And then everyone died.
Yep, kind of
Except-
like the time that, what was it Reagan? Yeah, I think it was Ronald Reagan got drunk one time and ordered a nuclear strike on North Korea. And one of his aides had to talk to him to get him to like recant that order, because in theory what should have happened then was we nuked North Korea.
Yeah, but luckily there's enough checks and balances that, you know, even the people that are on standby to executive orders would be like...
There are no checks and balances on...
Like, yeah, like, fuck no, we're not doing this.
Actually, on that particular topic, Trump has said that if North Korea are to continue performing nuclear tests, the United States would respond aggressively.
Yeah, I think that the aggressive response mentioned is the one that they've been planning and saying would happen.
To build billions of McDonald's all across North Korea.
Yes, that would be great. No, the aggressive response is shooting the missile down.
Yeah.
We've got we've got all these new fancy anti-strategic missile toys that we've been installing all over.
And just dying to try out on someone.
For a moment, when you said new, I expected you to say nukes.
No. So...
Aren't there like really small nukes? Like really cute, tiny little, cutesy little tiny nukes?
I think
no,
like
we don't
super
have
like super kawaii nukes?
Nukes for kids.
Oh god, speaking of tiny nukes,
Baby nukes.
Tiny nukes is a technology that potentially could be developed. That would be using fusion bombs. It would be if you could develop a fusion bomb that didn't need a fission bomb trigger, i.e. something like what they're trying to do inside of a fusion reactor.
They do have pretty small nukes. Like you can easily put a nuke in like a tank shell.
Well, there are physical limitations on how small a nuke can be, and that's based on fission cannot happen below a certain amount. At which point you just simply don't have enough fissionable material to start a chain reaction.
But don't explode.
However, fusion has no hypothetical minimum size. So if you found a way to, let's say science created the cold fusion device, the 1990s dream, and suddenly we had free energy for cars and everything, we'd also have free energy to build a bomb that was cold fusion bomb. Insert hydrogen here and dial in exactly how many tons of TNT you want it to have, whether that's 0.0001 or 500 million.
Obviously always 500
billion.
At least 5.
I don't understand the concept of not big.
Yeah.
I think it's called small.
No.
But wonder what that would do in a state where right now we have this thing, basically a blanket ban on using nukes. And it's like, hey, we won't use our nukes unless you use yours. Or, and vice versa.
That's what the war does.
Well, suddenly if you had nukes that could be used that are big enough to like open a car door or big enough to blow up a city, and they can be dialed anywhere in between.
I think the most important point would be how radioactive they leave the place afterwards. And that's one of the biggest issues.
How many radios?
Depends on how efficient it is. Fusion is going to set off gamma rays, which could cause things to become, which can give you radiation burns, and can cause things exposed to it to become radioactive. But it's not going to like release the really nasty fallout chemicals that you'll encounter with fission bombs.
Yay! Cleaner death.
Isn't it always nice to have your organs irradiated and not have to worry about the fallout too much?
Oh yeah.
I mean, everyone's looking forward to that future.
Yeah, now you can kill people horribly and be, uh, be content about your contribution to the protection of environment.
Wasn't that like a James Bond plotline?
Probably.
It was.
It sounds like a James Bond plot.
Secret Service.
Who knows?
Sorry, what did you say?
What?
Queen's Secret Service, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
American Secret Service. I think that was the movie.
It's
It was
so
about-
secret they made like 20 movies about it, and so now no one believes it's real.
I've always found the idea of Secret Services hilarious. Because, no, they're not.
It's a service, though, so they got half of it right.
It's a service that's secret. Well,
Yeah, but this is a service. But this is a service actually good.
During the war, in the form of some clandestine operations and units.
But do they actually offer good service? That's the real question.
Well,
No.
they usually went to German territory and slit somebody's throat or blew up an airport, which they did in Northern Africa.
Yeah, but do they at least offer a customer satisfaction card afterwards?
No.
I don't think it's very coward.
Nobody's satisfied with the Secret Services.
Fair enough.
Secret they are.
Because everyone knows about them, It's like, good God, you're the KGB. Yeah, we kind of know that.
See, that's a secret police, not a secret service. There's a subtle but distinct difference.
Or is there though?
License
Yeah.
slender.
Also, like the U.S. Secret Service is the group tasked with protecting the president and a couple other random things.
Like
Wait, what the
presidential
hell was the
bodyguards.
thing? Yeah, they're presidential bodyguards, and they're not very secret at all. They're actually extremely visible. Wherever the president is, there's the large group of people wearing very formal wear, but obviously have like radios in their ears and body armor on and pistols.
Also, KGB was in the police. They were in the military. So technically, they were like the security agency, I guess. And the fun thing, of course, is that most of their archives are still secret.
Of course.
That's why you still have all those missing nuclear silos.
Yes.
That's a true fact. There's missing nuclear silos in Russia. We just don't know where they are.
Oh
That's what
man.
happens.
It kind of reminds me of the story of how they, in Britain, they found a missing supply of emergency rations from World War II.
I don't think that quite compares to
True.
a
Yeah,
nuclear
so-
stockpile.
You start clearing away the giant piles of rations and like the M&Ms and the and like the biscuits and hardtack and whatever you've got stored away, and suddenly underneath everything inside of the middle of the pile is the missing stockpile of nuclear weapons. They were hidden in the last place anyone would ever expect them.
My God, they were kept with the rations. No wonder anyone ever found these. This is all beef stroganoff.
Yeah. They've been hidden in the last place anybody would look, under the fruitcakes.
Yes.
Fruitcake delicious.
Only place to store your nuclear weapons.
Anyways, do we have anything to add to the? Well, I guess this all started out with the Berkeley, the riots
yeah.
and whatnot. Oh.
Considering the whole Black History Month, the university library in Bratislava also has sections, a British section, Austrian section, and an American section, which are all basically supplied from their native nations.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Well, and when I was visiting this week the university library, I found in the American sections that they were advertising Black History Month.
Of course they
and
were.
They were there. They of course had recommended books. All of those books were either about slavery or about the civil rights movement.
Yes.
And I wonder, why do they present
I
this
wonder why.
why do they present these things as the only part of Black history? Why don't they teach like the African early African nation, like medieval and ancient African
No,
nation,
no,
like
no.
Well, it's not
But
the
we
point of
was
Black History Month in
kings.
the U.S.
There's nothing to black people but slavery, Sekele. You should know that.
Well,
Check
what
your white
about
privilege.
Ethiopia then?
the
Or
reason you have Black
Bakphoon?
History Month in the first place in the U.S. is a counter to, racism that it's basically attempting to force a against the grain um, education to counter Jim Crow laws and ideas, which put a de-emphasis on the impact of slavery and a de-emphasis on Black people's influence on early American history. So in general, it's just going to be early American history and why like in early American history these people were repressed, and so that's I mean at least in my mind Black History Month has that emphasis on civil rights movement and earlier, just
Yeah,
because of that.
but from what I saw, it seems like all they are doing is telling them, "Hey, everyone is racist against you. Hate them back for it." At least that's my impression as an
I mean,
outsider.
it really is. I don't know. Part of why they're bringing up these subjects is to bring up the fact that racism is a real thing that exists, and in this country,
But
that unfortunately,
Everyone knows that it exists. Why deny it
no,
further?
actually, the one way that these that Jim Crow laws and things like that were able to be successful was by normalizing it within a lot of communities. And when your community is 99% white, these things can become normalized relatively easily. It might seem weird from an outside perspective, but the like the very specific rhetoric within Black History Month in the U.S. is is kind of directed at a distinct American problem. And yes, maybe it's less of a problem now, but I think Black History Month is a big part of making it less of a problem.
Yeah, but I do wonder why not focus on a wider spectrum then?
I
Because
mean,
Because
that's missing the
I
point,
do
Sekele.
yeah, I mean, once you get beyond the fact that you're not racist anymore, that you can go study world history to your heart's content. And as far as the public educators go, they have mission accomplished. Um, there's no one stopping anyone else from researching the other information, but the government doesn't feel a need to push um, this any more information than they have to. I mean,
yeah, because
it would just dilute their message.
at least from my perspective, it does seem like just further fuels that certain victim complex, and that instead they should also try to inspire some genuine pride, because there is, of course, as Paul likes to mock, the whole "we was kings" mentality, where for some reason black people seem to appropriate ancient Egypt, despite the fact that the period of black rulers in ancient Egypt was pretty slow, well, pretty short, and it came very late in their history, and instead focus on real African nations with black rulers that achieved something, just to inspire some pride, like, no, you weren't just some, I do think this would further inspire people to not be racist, to not think that all black peoples were just some tribal hunters in Africa chasing after zebras.
Yeah, I mean that's one part of it, but the other part of it is that I mean, at the same time, do those societies have anything to do with black people in the U.S.?
Well,
I mean,
they're
like,
the ones
yes,
they're the ones who sold you to black people.
Yeah,
Right.
some of the black African kingdoms were actually slave traders who hunted people from other nations and then sold them to the Europeans and the Middle Easterns.
Well, everybody knows that other tribes are inferior.
But those weren't tribes; those were like genuine countries, kingdoms.
Ah,
I don't know.
they're
I
tribes.
think it's more effective to talk about accomplishments of Black Americans in America if you're trying to combat racism within America.
Sure, that is part of
Saying
it.
that, oh, look, people that look like you and have a similar ancestry to you are also able to accomplish things. It's kind of backwards. You're kind of promoting the idea that the races are different by saying that when we're trying to say the opposite, that no matter what your background and what you came from, you can contribute to our culture, and that's what they talk about. They talk about influential and great black men and women from earlier in American history that just simply before hadn't had their stories told. And so, I mean, that's what they're setting aside time to be like, hey, we're going to talk about these people because in the past this history has been repressed and underrepresented. So here, these are people that you can be proud of, and no matter who you are and what your background is, you can also be successful.
Isn't that the American dream? No matter who you are and where you came from in America, you can make it if you just will it so.
That is the American dream. Now, if only a society was built in such a way to make it true. But at the very least, we can educate it so that people at the least feel like that is the intent. I don't know. With people knowing what that is and then wanting it, maybe we will have a generation of people that will actually vote for policies that contribute towards it. But I don't know.
I am mostly just referring to Slovakia's own historical experiences in this regard, considering that for the longest part, Slovak people were a minority within the Kingdom of Hungary, and especially during the 19th century, when nationalism was on the rise, Hungarians essentially started treating Slovaks and other minorities within the kingdom. Well, at that point, they were the Austrian Empire, but Hungarians still ran their part of the empire. Essentially, started treating all the minorities, including the Slovaks, who were a very large portion of the territory's population, as second-class citizens. So a lot of emphasis was then from the side of the Slovak nationalists built around building a pride in Slavic heritage. Like I know there was for a time a lot of glorification of Russia and similar Slavic countries. So,
Well, see,
So-
you've come to actually the same conclusion the Americans did there.
yeah,
Exactly.
but as
That you should teach
also-
about your own people, not
Yeah, but
about
that's it,
other
they
people's people.
about our people, but also about other Slavic people. But yeah, I think it's true that
Slav lives matter.
I do understand that two black people are not the same, of course. But considering how mixed the African Americans are in their heritage, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Nope.
Yeah, sorry, I kinda lost my train of word. Like not like
Or did.
couldn't finish it properly. Couldn't finish my sentence properly.
Good job.
I'm probably making Symmetra too black. That's
Symmetra lives matter.
exactly.
It's Black History
Very
Month. It's
black.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. as in a person from India.
She's black and got huge lips.
By
don't
the way,
think it's-
Yeah.
considering we are talking about racism, I always find it kind of amusing the whole, that Indian is a racist term, because yeah, I do understand it in English, and I do understand it is a mixed, the word a mix up because the word was originally meant to refer to people from India, but since they confused America for West India,
Happens.
kind of stuck. But the fun part is that I don't think that word Indian, as for Native American, will ever disappear from our language, because our language strictly differentiates between a person from India and a Native American.
Same
A
here.
person from
Yeah.
India is Ind, and a Native American is Indian.
Yep.
So those are two completely different words.
Yeah,
it's,
well-
it's the same in German.
Yep,
It's-
same in
yeah.
Dutch.
Indiana and
So, as everything else, it seems to be American issue.
yeah,
Yeah, fix your language, murrca. Do it now.
that
My
is
experience
probably-
with that is that, oh god,
yeah,
You and your
English
fucking
does not-
zero world problems.
English does not differentiate between those two words.
Let the American
So-
talk about it.
Okay, so my experience with that, of course, opinions on this are going to vary dramatically between Native Americans or Indians or whatever you want to call them, because it's a hugely diverse group of people. An entire continent.
Nonsense, they're all the
Exactly.
same.
Let him finish.
Yep, that's it.
But my experience is working with Navajo, and I did that when I was working in Arizona with the Conservation Corps. And in general, what I heard from them was that they did not like being called Native Americans because they didn't want to be associated with Americans.
Oh.
Top cat.
Yeah. So, but Navajo are extremely independent. They've got the largest reservations still remaining. They have more of their culture still intact than a lot of natives, and they would
Well,
much.
they were the last to be conquered, right?
Yes. Aside from, I think, maybe some in Canada, but at least in the continental U.S. Yeah, so the Navajo that I talked with would prefer to be called Indians than Native Americans. But I mean, other than that, simply they would rather be called Navajo.
See, that's the thing. Neither the term Indian nor Native American are what Native American Indians originally called themselves. So they're both wrong fundamentally.
They usually call
Yeah.
themselves people.
That's true. Probably in whatever language they spoke.
Yes.
Yeah, which was
People
dozens
language.
and dozens of different languages in different cultures.
Yeah, I mean the northeast were completely different from the south, and
And that's not
I
even
actually
counting
did
the
not-
Mexicans.
I did some research on them, so I know just how well they are usually categorized into around 5 or 6 cultures in North America. But yeah, there were a lot of, especially in the language department, a lot of differences.
Yeah.
But do
I
they win a
agree.
prize?
No,
Oh.
no prize for you.
Do I at least get to keep my drawing?
No.
No.
Ah,
Just
you're right.
saying,
I have to
keep
give
my
it.
history month underneath it.
Oh, okay. But then they'll claim my drawing. They'll be like, "Dude, that's our drawing." I'm like, no.
Well, they're
Like,
kings
well,
and
white
India
privilege
also
and
had
whatnot.
kings, so that makes sense, Artrix.
Oh yeah, there's probably gonna be a bunch of Indians. Sumatra's ours, not yours. Stop the wronger. You're not allowed to.
You know, there are a few folks out there who will make that kind of claim, which is really, really bizarre and annoying.
Yes, I mostly just ignore them. Also, fortunately, they never personally... The worst thing I've ever come across when it comes to this sort of thing is some chick coming up to me on DeviantArt and saying, "Hey, there's humanized ponies you've drawn. It looks nice and all, but it's lacking diversity. And obviously what it meant is that they want Rarity to be black with blue eyes, because it makes perfect sense.
V was Nazi.
Obviously I'm a Nazi. We're not agreeing. Also, what did you say, Sekele?
What?
I kind of talked over you, so go ahead.
Yeah, I just asked that whether or not their voice actors are white.
Of course they're white.
They don't care.
Canadian.
Use that as an argument.
They basically just want me to fulfill their race fetish, basically. It's probably what they get off to. You know, they go to Tumblr and they see, I don't know, Fluttershy, some Muslim, Indian,
I don't get it.
Jew,
Like-
and then they basically just get a huge organ. Oh yeah! Oh, look at the diversity! Yeah! Oh, yeah.
They thought that I had to be Muslim because there was still one choice left.
Probably. You know,
And
they
everybody
already
is
checked.
Nazi.
Yeah, they already checked off all the races and stereotypes. So we're like, okay, well, we made Twilight a black chick, check. We got Rarity, she's Hispanic, check. We got, let's see.
I think it's usually that Rarity is black and Twilight is the Hispanic, Japanese, black Indian mix.
Yep, and let's see. I don't know.
Don't forget Black Celestia.
Yeah, Black Celestia. Celestia's Metis, and I don't know. And Applejack is the fucking right redneck cowboy. And I'm not kidding. That's usually what the Sea's portrait is.
Obviously, that's an ethnicity.
Yep, being a redneck is an ethnicity now. So yeah.
One
of
speaking
them
of
will be a horse to represent that as well.
Alright, I think Panboy is actually about to bring up a new topic.
Yeah, speaking of rednecks, Capcom finally made a Resident Evil game that's like Resident Evil again, and it's great. I've been playing it.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's just called Resident Evil number 7.5, and you know, it's very good with the diversity as well. I mean, Capcom are really playing up the game properly. Like in the first hour of the game, if you're playing at a decent pace, you get to see the only black character in the game get a shovel in his head.
Oh, classic. Black guy dies first.
Oh
Like,
no,
in the
Blackie!
game, purely to get murdered.
It's a tradition.
It is.
Oh no, not! Oh no, not Blackie!
And best part, it is a black.
Stop. I was trying to avoid being particularly spoilery about everything, and you.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't.
I wasn't listening.
Now that you said that the only black guy gets killed, I think that was enough of a spoiler.
No, you're going to start spoiling what he was doing, who he was, and why he was there.
Was he
Nobody
eating
cares
pills?
about that.
Everyone cares about that. These are important things.
Yes, black guys matter.
The trailer, though, he is in the game trailer, so.
Oh.
Black guys
I mean,
still
not the part where
matter.
he
Oh,
get killed.
once again, trailers ruin everything.
They do. But no, the game really is a massive return to form for Resident Evil. It's still somewhat of an action shooter, but it's much slower pace and
Only the ending section. Oh, really, only the ending. The last 30 minutes or so are action-packed. The rest is mostly just sneaking around, hiding, and hoping you don't get
Alright,
torn
let Panboy
It
speak.
could be considered a spoiler, and now you told Panboy something he didn't know, and now he's not going to finish the game because you spoiled it for him.
That could be true, but seriously, why did you just do that? Why? Are you an idiot?
I didn't know you were that far in. You weren't that far in.
Well, I'm pretty far in. I'm almost finished the game, but that's not the point. The point is you're spoiling how the game plays out for everyone, not for me.
Forever!
Okay, then you know.
But you know what you say, it's just a game.
Dude.
Okay, okay, guys. I know how to fix this. I can solve this. I'll put a spoiler warning. I'll put a spoiler warning in the video description because everyone reads the video description.
I'll try to get the point that it really does feel like Resident Evil again.
It is.
You're sneaking around a shut up and stop talking.
Stop talking!
That reminds me that I still haven't played the Alone in the Dark reboot.
Oh, well, that's apparently not very good.
It's very not good. It has crafting.
Is it trying to be Minecraft?
Yes.
Not that much.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
There's a spray, there's a tape, there's a lighter. Guess what?
That's some
A
high level.
flamethrower.
That's some high level crafting right there.
Yes, and then use the flamethrower at some of the monsters that are like, oh, well, this is not very effective. They're eating my face, and then you use a loose cable that's prepared for you near a conveniently placed puddle, and you electrocute them to death.
And then you die.
No, they die. Then
Oh.
you forget that you did that, and then step into the puddle and die. Yes.
Okay. So you die, but kind of in a roundabout way.
Electricity is pretty unfriendly in most games.
In most games.
Yeah. In Bioshock, when you get electricity, you just, if it's wet, you've won, and it's often wet.
Well, in
electric
Bioshock-
about it.
Bioshock generally it is wet. Also, there's bees,
Mm-hmm.
underwater bees.
Insert B movie joke. I'm pretty sure there's one in there somewhere.
Yes. Every time you kill a little sister, the entire B movie plays.
Except
Except
every time they say B,
And every time they say
Every time
B
they
in
say
the B movie, you go back to Bioshock.
And when you're in Bioshock and anyone says B in any capacity, you go back to the B movie, and it's a never-ending cycle. Because I'm pretty sure at one point in that entire game they mentioned the word
no,
B.
no. From Bioshock, you go to B movie when you kill a little sister.
Mhm.
But when you save a little sister, we are number one place.
Anywho, any more topics we can bring up on this fine podcast? Pretty much, I guess we pretty much have said all there is to be said about the Berkley riots.
They
Peop-
are horrible, and people are monsters.
Mhm.
And I'm really tired of this entire narrative that you need to go out there and punch people you disagree with. It's hurting a lot of people.
And it's killing, any kind of dialogue.
Like the one we had over here.
Yeah.
Actually, we do have more news.
Oh,
Yes.
well, go ahead and tell us. You piqued
Nintendo
my
Switch is
interest.
still bad, I'm sure.
This Sunday.
Sunday.
Exactly. The Americans have a weird big commercial event, and it's about some weird owl, and it's
SUPERBOWL.
yes, the SUPERBOWL, yeah.
How superb is this owl? It's like
How-
the head.
How mangled can you make that sentence to make
It's
it?
superb owl.
Is it like the Harry Potter's owl? Because the one was pretty shitty. It died.
Anyway, what?
you guys have all been on SUPERBOWL, right?
Oh yeah, scroll,
Okay.
I absolutely have no knowledge or interest about the Uber bowl.
Well, I think it's either baseball or rugby because there's nothing else Americans do.
Wait, isn't it a giant bowling competition that they do, or was it cricket? I'm pretty sure it's cricket.
Bowling,
You
but
guys,
I think it might be tennis.
you guys play cricket, right? It's really popular in America right now. Like,
No.
you guys are going fucking nuts about it. You
That's
you
basketball.
get around to say, "Oi, May, let's play some cricket." May, cunt.
This is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Especially the cunt part. That's very important. That's what Americans say like all the fucking time.
True American facts, ITT.
Anyway, Super Bowl. Are you doing anything spectacular for Super Bowl? Do you not give a shit, Tridge?
I am going to use this as an excuse to cook awesome food.
Are you gonna have a barbecue?
So
I'm
it
gonna have a barbecue.
really, so really is a big thing over there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing. The market's gonna, go to the grocery store, it's gonna be crowded with people. There's gonna be avocados sold at some sort of discount, so you can make your own guacamole. And
So is this?
lots of dip and hot
So
wings.
is this like akin to like almost a de facto unofficial holiday for America? It almost sounds like it is.
If it was in the middle of the week, work would be canceled.
But it's
Yes.
not. It's in,
But it's not, so it's just the de facto, because you can't have a holiday that's on Sunday unless the next Monday is off, and this Monday is not off.
So what's so special about the Super Cup? I mean the Super Bowl, like the Cup Super basket.
There's
What's so special about the Super basket? Come on.
So there's a lot of rabid there's a lot of rabid sports fans out there. Everyone has their own sports teams to follow and get really excited about, and some people take it much more seriously than others. But outside of that, any excuse to invite friends over and have a barbecue is generally a good one. And so it's kind of like I don't know. It's, even if you're not in the sports, everyone seems to have a party for the Super Bowl.
So
You
what
can
you're
see all the-
saying is that this is a way for America to delude itself into thinking that it should have a big party, and they just use this big game as big as excuse.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty good game too. I mean, there have been exceptions, but like last year's Super Bowl was about as good as football gets, as far as it being really close, and both teams are, having a chance to win all the way up until the last moment. And, last year was pretty entertaining as far as American football gets, and that's fun, when it's actually two good teams going at it.
That word you keep using, football, I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, that kinda implies that they're using their
Football
feet
with
to
football.
play it.
Do not confuse football with football.
It's just called football. And the only definition of football is you have two goals and you have a team of 11 players, two teams, 11 players. You use the feet to kick a ball around, and the goals to kick the ball into the other guy's goal.
Yep.
And there's no
Gotta use
other.
your feet.
Yep. And the ball is perfectly round, and there's also a lot of hooligans and chefs involved.
Tridgeon,
Don't forget the beer.
why do
Even
you
some shenanigans.
Americans fail to understand what football actually is? And then you have this big spiritual event around your misunderstanding of football.
So
Yeah,
when
Americans.
America split off from
America.
UK, soccer was called soccer in the UK. This is a fact that they will deny until the end of the day, but it is something that we have inherited from the UK. So go ask them.
This is very true, by the way. He's speaking the truth. But still, it's called football is a game where you have two teams allowed to play up, kicking the ball around, and it's not that thing with the weirdly shaped bean. What even do you call that shape? It's like it's round, but not really. It's more like two pyramids sort of glued together. And how does it even work? How do you kick such a ball?
A distorted ovoid.
Yes.
It makes it really easy to throw and roll
maybe-
in arms.
What's
You
this?
could call it an ellipsoid.
How?
Ellipsoid.
How? What is this throw?
There's very little footing of balls involved.
Fancy a game of hand egg?
It's roughly foot shaped, maybe.
It is kind of weird, though. You gotta agree. Like this this sport where you use a ball that you do not kick all that often, and you call it football. Would most other sports are named for the way you play them, like basketball. The aim of the game is get ball in basket. Handball. The aim of the game is get ball in basket using your hands. Wait, hang on a minute. Those two games sound very familiar.
Floorball. You have a floor and a ball. Right. Yes, technically.
You know what? Let's for now we call soccer goal ball.
Yes.
Oh.
How are you going to call tennis, though?
Racquetball?
Yeah. No, this I think it's actually sport.
Oh. Is it a sport like tennis?
Tennis racquetball. Oh wait, that includes the word tennis.
Okay, racquetball is a game from USA and Canada.
Canadian?
And the rules are apparently similar to squash. But it shouldn't be confused with hardball.
Wait, if it's a Canadian sport, can we just call Justin Trudeau ball?
No,
Trudeau
it's
ball?
It's USA and Canada.
Oh.
USA.
Well, if it was Justin Trudeau ball, then it would just consist of standing in the field and just declaring you're a feminist, but really creepily. I'm a feminist.
Artrix, come on. Feminism, much like Islam, is a integral part of Canadian culture. You should know that.
Yeah, I don't care.
I blame Canada.
Well, in this case, you can legitimately say blame Canada. But they also they have to blame it on themselves as well.
Here, one explanation for why football is called football is because it is a game that you played on foot as opposed to polo, which you would play on horseback.
Oh.
Ooh. That makes sense.
Meaning that it was a game played by peasants as opposed to aristocrats.
But if those retarded Spurdo the Bear cartoons haven't taught me anything, is that America exclusively moved themselves around with these little
Finland
cars.
Well, Americans did have aristocrats when America was first founded.
Yeah, like the French guy who helped found it. Wait a moment.
Exactly.
Language doesn't have to make sense; it just has to be what people do.
It's true. Words mean what people say they mean.
Yep, it's like Nazi.
And that's why English is so terrible as a language.
Well,
we
that's
just keep
basically
using the words, even though they've lost semblance of their original meaning. It doesn't matter. It's like just keep using it. It's still a good word, right? Right?
It's not like you're saying a word and then the person you're speaking to has a completely different idea than what you're trying to convey. Like boat, and then the other person thinks about a nuclear submarine.
That's a U-boat. That's ridiculous. How could anyone make
Also, that was kind of a bad example. More like you say boat and the other person think about a cute kitty cat. Like, that there's kind
language.
yes, there's I think there's kind of a disconnect between no, this is kind of useless now. Let's just switch to binary. Just say nothing.
Then
but
who
once
decides what 1 and 0 mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, and whether we're using 64 or 32 bits, and yeah, that could be a problem. We should just get rid of language altogether. Just not communicate anymore. Starting now.
Just revert back to
Oh fuck, we already failed. Well, that didn't last very long.
Well, the first step is to revert into pictograms, and Microsoft Office has pretty much covered that already.
But that involves communicating.
Yes,
It's
everyone start talking in Windings now. The stapler, paper airplane.
Well, wasn't there like this thing where if you typed 9/11, it would actually show 2 airplanes and
No.
Oh.
It would show an airplane, then the 2 towers, or something that looked like 2 towers.
Filing cabinets.
Yeah.
Filing cabinets.
Yes, and then there would be a skull with crossbones, and I think there was a Jewish star. And you know,
Nice.
you know what did that?
It was the Bill Gates 9/11 meme or something.
Yes, because they displayed after you typed the number of one of the planes that crashed.
Wow.
And that's how you know that Bill Gates is behind 9/11.
Too deep six me.
Yeah.
At least I think it was it. I never actually googled the number of the plane, so
I
let's see.
just googled Bill Gates 9/11 meme, and I can't find it.
Yes,
It just
I
a lot of Bill
googled,
Gates pictures.
I googled the number of the plane. I remember it.
You do.
What was the number of the plane?
Well, not the plane, but the thing and the things.
So what you're saying is that we should ban Wingdings.
We should ban Bill Gates.
That too. Just get rid of him. Tridgeon, do it now. Just go to his house and ban him.
Ban him from what?
From
You were
entering
banned.
America.
Yeah.
He can never leave his house now.
But if he's already in America, and I can't ban him from entering America.
You can.
Well, then do it retroactively. Just
I mean, Tridgeon, look at it. You come to Bill Gates and you ban him from entering America under the penalty of, I don't know, life sentence. And then you're like, wait, you are already in America. Get him. And that's how they get him.
Now while searching the 9/11 Bill Gates meme, I found a ton of anti-vaxxers claiming that Bill Gates, since Microsoft supports vaccination programs in Africa, that Bill Gates is responsible for all the diseases in Africa.
Yes.
they're poisoning our water supply. So go ahead and buy my water filters. Call this number now. Sorry, that was my gel.
Duel.
Yes.
More importantly, the Samurai Jack Season 5 teaser just dropped.
Also, you should buy Voter Seed.
Oh, also the last episode of Adventure Time was produced.
Okay, well, let's absurdly switch topics. So yeah, cartoons, Adventure Time, ending. 1, 3,
I
go.
can't wait for a new spoiler from Sekele.
God, that means I gotta start watching Adventure Time again. I'm only at like
But yeah,
I'm
the
so
last
many episodes
episode
behind
will,
now.
the last
Well-
episode will air next year, but it was already produced. So yeah, now the crew can move on to other projects.
Also,
How many seasons did
I
they
also
make? Is that like 6 or 7?
I also have the title of this episode. It's just gonna be Sekele spoils everything. There we go.
Yes.
I haven't even seen it, so how can I spoil it?
Well, you already spoiled 3 billion things, so there we go. But
I don't
anyways,
want to underestimate you.
I don't think they actually revealed much about Adventure Time. So even if he tried, he couldn't spoil much. Or can he?
Also, I think it's 8 seasons.
You can sure try.
Is it 8?
And also,
No, it's
Or
nine.
die trying.
Wait, so
999.
9.
Yes, our token German friend 999
9.
9.
So, what was the last episode I watched? I think it was the last episode of season 6, which means I have 2 seasons to watch.
I have seen so many episodes so
That's
recently.
Smash Adventure and a lot of time.
See, the last season I saw was when the Lich was turned into a baby, so I don't know
That
how
was a
is.
terrible happenstance. I do not know how that could even pass.
But
And
You see, I have no clue what any of that means. So.
I'm excited
Hey,
about
hey,
lots
hey.
of episodes.
that's not that much actually, because when he was turned into baby, that was season, I think 6 actually. You are at the same season as I am, except the
Yes.
opposite end of it.
I could catch up and then we could watch together.
You can be season buddies.
That sounds even gayer than gay.
Also, Cartoon Network on their Tumblr revealed that there will be a new show, Oscar and Hedgehog. Only that it really does not look like something that should be a show. I mean, the art style even
So
does.
it's like Uncle Grandpa.
No, it's nothing like Uncle Grandpa. I mean,
Uncle Grandpa shouldn't be a show.
I did link it in the public chat. but it looks like drawings from a children's book. Well, and the animation itself just is pretty slow paced, and the way the characters are drawn does not really seem like they
So
will land
basically,
well.
a bunch of stoners drew it.
No. I mean, just check the link if you want.
It sure does sound like a show drawn and animated by a bunch of stoners.
Well, I remember when I was growing up, there was a few shows like that actually that used to air on television. I remember there was a couple where they just used it was sort of South Park style, where they just had really simple paper puppets that moved in really bizarre ways on the paper. And it looked like they had maybe built 20 props for the entire season. I think it was called
I'm looking
Bob.
at this, and it seems like this show was drawn by stoners from Latvia or some other country like that.
It sounds like those Tom and Jerry cartoons produced in Eastern Europe. I think it was actually produced in the Czech Republic. Back in like the 1960s, those were creepy as shit. Like, one episode was about Tom and Jerry, obviously, and Tom was in Transylvania or whatever, and there was this mad scientist, and he created a machine that could exchange the brains between two species. So you had like a lion and a mouse, and they went in the machine, and then they switched personalities, basically. And guess what happened?
Tom and Jerry switched.
Yeah. But this, one particular feature of this entire series was the weirdest shit sound design.
This was actually very common for Czechoslovakian cartoons at the
It
time.
was so 1980s Eastern European. There's no other way to describe it.
Well, I have a way to describe it. Late 1970s avant-garde. Everybody was on drugs, even the people who had no access to drugs in the 70s.
Yes.
I mean, I
miss those
consider
times.
the comedies from 70s, the last decent Czech films.
I kind of miss that these days. People don't really make weird shit like that anymore.
Children's cartoons used to be so surreal for the most part. I do you remember like a claymation one called Trapdoor, which every episode was about some kind of monster coming up from under the floor.
That sounds peachy.
And then the castle caretaker would have to deal with it somehow without getting himself eaten.
Well, that happens when you live
it
near
was-
Chernobyl.
Salvador Dali was quoted saying that Walt Disney is the greatest surrealist of their time period.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did think up Mickey Mouse.
That's
Pink elephants on parade.
Nah,
perfectly normal.
Mickey Mouse is much more terrifying than pink elephants.
Well, at least it's not as terrifying as Iranian Mickey Mouse, which is the most surreal shit that exists on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well,
if this
at least the Iranian Mickey Mouse isn't based on a burlesque show with a blackface protagonist. That's why he has the gloves.
It's kind of really bizarre how energetically censors avoid alcohol in cartoons now, when back when Disney did it, getting the elephant drunk was just peachy.
Yes, but now you have all the Muslims that will be offended because alcohol.
Oh,
alcohol is absolutely haram.
Yeah.
So that was pretty obligatory.
Just like the Frenchman said, it's absolutely haram. Haram.
Oh, the cartoon. I was thinking.
Sorry, French. Haram.
It's a good thing I'm not French, though. Only 2%.
No, you just sounded
It's
like one.
2% too much.
It's true.
That's very true.
Bod. It wasn't called Bob. It was called Bod.
What? I mean, who?
Bod.
Who, what, in the where now?
The really, really cheaply made cartoon I remember from the... Well, I remember it from childhood. It was made in the 70s, apparently. Oh god, I just found a screenshot, and Yes, this is some high effort shit. I've got to show you. I'll put it in the stream chat.
You should check out the clip that I linked.
Well, I'll make sure to put it in the video description so that people at home can watch and be terrified.
The video you leave Tridgeon's Overwatch?
No, no, that one. There's also the St. James Infirmary Blues.
Oh, yes. I still think that Betty Boop was much more terrifying than anything.
It's pretty terrifying. That's
You
one of my
don't
favorites.
realize that Betty Boop is responsible for the existence of anime.
I thought that was Donald Duck.
It was Disney cartoons and.
I have to say that I mean, anime was a mistake, and 2 bombs were not enough and all that stuff. But yeah, even anime is not as bad as Betty Boop.
Oh, no,
Betty Boop is pretty terrifying.
I mean, her face looks like a butt.
Apparently, that was once considered attractive. I don't know what those people were smoking.
There is actually currently a
And I'm
Betty Boop
Dutch.
comic.
Does she still look like a butt?
I'm gonna check.
He's gonna check. Jokes.
There is a horrifying, like there's so many different ranges of cartoons that were made in the old days. And they had so much more effort put into them. Back then, if you wanted a smooth 20 frame per second animation, you had to spend all day drawing every single goddamn frame.
It looks slightly more like a human being now.
I don't know.
And now half the cartoons look worse than those old cartoons, and people don't have to put in half the effort because they have all these assisting tools.
It's still a lot of work.
It is, I know, but
Even with all the tools at our disposal, it's still an awful lot of work. But that doesn't excuse a lot of modern cartoons to be soulless and terrible.
I mean, the old stuff they were doing 12 frames. They were hand animating 12 frames per second and then doubling it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of bad shit in the 90s. I mean, we tend to look at the past with nostalgia goggles, like, oh yeah, man, the cartoons in the 90s were awesome. But
Remember Ugly Martians?
The mid to late.
That's more like the early 2000s, but still.
You were talking about the experiment that Cartoon Network started in the mid 90s. This is when we are talking about good 90s cartoons.
Cartoons.
Cartoons was fucking awesome.
And then that's, I think, really where a lot of our modern ideas of what a good cartoon is, comes from. I mean, of course, they were building off of earlier ideas, but they went from cartoons, and then the crazy, batshit, insane stuff that became Toonami and Adult Swim. I really like what Cartoon Network is doing.
Wasn't Toonami really just airing Japanese stuff?
That was the idea at first, but then
there were some American stuff added, but yeah.
But isn't cartoons that more or less kicked off the notion that a network has its own IPs and series and whatnot?
I do think
because before that, Cartoon Network was more or less a dumping ground for old Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon both did that. Did the same thing. Like Nickelodeon had the show Kablam, which was basically their version of cartoons.
Yeah, but Nick didn't do that until after Cartoons.
Yeah.
And also Kablam wasn't nearly as good.
Early 90s Nickelodeon was all the game shows and Kids Gone Wild, and it was real life kids doing stuff.
That's where Nickelodeon was fucking dominating Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network was the place to go for your cartoons, but as a general purpose children's network, Nickelodeon was the shit.
I just did some research. Nickelodeon was first. Nickelodeon launched the Nicktoons in 1991, and Cartoons started in 1996.
Yes, but we weren't comparing those two things.
Oh, I said that. I didn't realize Nickelodeon had done it first.
No,
So
I said Nickelodeon's version of Cartoons was Kablam.
Yeah.
Nicktoons
But
was
91, I guess, when like Scary Monsters and Doug and all those.
Dog
cartoons
was
were
fucking awesome.
Scary Monsters was
I
such a
never
weird.
liked that.
Ren and Stimpy.
All those Claspy Ksupo cartoons, they were bizarre as fuck.
Hmm.
But I
Well,
guess
the only shows where that style actually worked was, well, Duckman is a prime example. Like that show was made for the Claspy Ksupo style. Like that show fits that style to the T. That show was bizarre and crude and just awful, but in a good way.
I think it worked in our real monsters.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah.
Because they were supposed to be monsters.
I think it's more fun to discuss the things where it didn't work, like rocket jump.
Oh god.
That was one steaming pile of shit. God fucking damn it.
So dated. So beautifully dated.
Perfect Hair Forever. For
What was that show you really didn't like? Or As Told by Ginger? Was that sort of classic?
Yeah,
it
but
was
that I guess I didn't like that show ironically. Like it definitely had its redeeming qualities, but yeah, well, in Claspy Ksupo's defense, they actually modified the style to sort of make it work. Like I really like the autumn, the fall style colors. Like they used a lot of warm colors. I really like that. But the show was pretty gay. But the character designs were fucking terrible. They legit were. It seemed as if they were going out of their way to make them as ugly as possible.
Maybe so that people would not do Rule 34 of them.
And let's not forget the Thorn Bears. What's even got a fucking theoretical movie? What? Worst part about that is I was in the US when that fucker came out.
Oh no.
Well, that's the end of the story. I was in the US and saw like big posters for that movie, and I don't think anyone cared. Like people were just walking past it and just throwing. Oh, I guess it exists.
I was just browsing the good old fashioned news, and I just came across a ridiculous story. The Louvre was attacked.
Oh yeah, that's also a thing that happened.
By a guy wielding dual machetes. And he just charged at the police, yelled Allahu Akbar, and got shot.
So
Yes.
not only did he not kill anyone, he got shot like 6 times in the stomach and survived. So
He definitely got neutralized.
he's gonna get the award of the worst terrorist ever. So he's gonna...
At least you can see that stationing soldiers at every major place has its advantages.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can stop noobs because that's what he was.
That's what the,
I mean,
that's what
get
the
good
military
scrub.
leaders are for.
But that's just such a hilariously dumb way to try to attack armed police. Running at them with a bunch of machetes and yelling at them.
Well, maybe if you're
protect him.
maybe
Him superhuman strength.
well, maybe he thought that he was gonna be so intimidating that the police would just stand there in fear and not even think of using their
Obviously,
super
the
modern
army guy-
precision assault rifles.
I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be a suicide by cop.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The armed security guy shouldn't be there because, as one of the ministers of France said, people should just learn to live with it.
Just learn to live with the constant risk of being terrorismed. It's normal now.
I hate the notion people keep putting out there that you should punch Nazis, right? Because, that's leading to everyone getting punched. But I'd really like to punch that particular that minister who said that.
Me too.
That's a very specific person I want. for that's just Jesus Christ. That's just encouraging more violence and terrorism. That kind of notion. Live with it, for fuck's sake.
You know what specifically pissed me off about it? He directed that remark at us.
At the French people.
Because the V4, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, refused and still refuse to let in any refugees. And our reasoning is to protect ourselves from possible terrorist attacks. And they basically told us that we should just learn to live with it. Like, yeah, let them in and then learn to live with terrorism.
Yeah,
but
no.
we don't have any terrorism, and so they should not force us to have to endure it.
Like, I'm sure there among those refugees, there are hundreds of thousands of them who are indeed innocent people who are fleeing a war zone. But a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are taking advantage of the situation to get easy passage into countries that are better. And, well, that just makes sense. But it's to give in to that is dumb. These people need to be properly vetted and not just let in mass to anywhere.
And that's my biggest concern about this whole refugee crisis. My biggest concern that they're so callous, like whatever. Just man. I mean, we've got to be the good guys, guys. We've got to be good, nice people. Just let them in. And if you're any kind of critical, you're racist.
Have you ever heard the story of the woman and the snake?
No, but what was it about?
Old fable, basically, I make it brief. Woman finds a snake freezing on the outside, so she takes it home, warms it up, and then it bites her and kills her.
Snake.
Yeah, this is the main reason why I don't take in like homeless people, and unfortunately this is not uncommon. Like the other day I was walking down to my car, and there's like a bunch of carts parked nearby, and there was a man standing right there staring at me, and I walked past him, and I went to my room. I looked down again, and as it turns out the guy was sleeping there between the carts out of sight. I was like, I'm keeping an eye on you. I don't want you messing with my car. Don't you dare mess with my car. Well, then again, my car is named Patriarchy, so obviously the patriarchy will take care of it.
Patriarchy.
No one messes with patriarchy, and the homeless man sure as hell realized that no, you do not mess with the patriarchy.
Oh, I think there was a perfect Aesop's fable to explain the situation. You know, you have there's a friendly little fox, and he's wandering around, and he's going across a stream. A scorpion comes up to the fox and says, hey bro, can you get me across the stream?
I don't think this is an Aesop's fable.
Isn't it? Are you sure? and he's all like, sure, dude. I can get across the stream. It'll be grand. You just hop up on my back. It'll be grand. We'll get across the stream. So the fox is like, all right, that's cool. Let's go. And they wander across the stream. They're swimming halfway through, and the scorpion's all like, dude, I stung you, bro. The fox's like, what?
Why?
I stung you. And he's like, hi. It's me nature. And then they both die.
And none of them lived. Doomdy
More like a peri-Bible fellowship.
The same moral as about the woman and the snake.
There are scorpions in Ireland?
No.
Well, I kind of like the animal analogies better because...
He said it's me nature. Means he's Irish.
Yeah,
So the moral of the story is be very suspicious of the Irish.
Obviously.
But yes, it is the same
Basic idea.
Yeah, I just like my one better.
Yeah. Oh, you're not wrong.
My one.
Or
my
right.
one has a fox in it. That makes everything.
Okay. Now I'm going to make a Dutch version on the spot. So there was a boy. He walked down the street and there was a dike, and Dike said, "Hey guy, want to help me to keep?"
A boy? You meant a clog.
Well, obviously the boy was wearing clogs, so the boy was just clogging along, making little cloggy noises like clog, 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 clog. It was walking down the street, and then the Dike was like, "Hey guy, come over here." It's like, "You all me?" Because that's what Dutch boys say. And then the Dike's like, "Well, put your finger in this hole, and we can stop the flood together." And the boy was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I want to be a hero," so he did immediately. And then the Dike was like, "Psych! I'm just gonna let the flood in," and that's how the Great Flood of 1953 happened.
Wait. The version of that story I heard had the boy saving everyone by clogging up the hole in the dike.
Yeah, that's a lie we tell everyone because it's actually kind of embarrassing because it's actually what caused the Great Flood of 53. So. Also, fun fact, my dad was born right in the middle of that Great Flood. Like Rotterdam was completely flooded, and that didn't stop my dad from being born. He was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm just gonna get born, even though there's a flood, but I don't fucking care."
Get born, loser.
Well, he wasn't exactly a loser. I mean, he was born despite there being a flood, and I don't really consider that to be very loser-like behavior.
Born. That's why you say get born, loser to the losers who are not born.
Oh, yeah.
Artrix.
Okay, but, well, now we're just playing semantics here.
Okay.
Maybe we should end the episode on that retarded note. So...
Yes.
The moral of the story is do not be Dutch.
Yeah, do not be Dutch. Be like me and be like some sort of bastard child between the Dutch and between the French and the Germans. I'm the best of the both. Yeah, I am le garçon Herr Artrix. Anyway.
Just be a Kekistani.
Or you can just be Kekistani and save you all the trouble. Anyway, like, subscribe, do all that good jazz. And praise Kek. All praise the great Republic of Kekistan. We're all Kekistanis, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
I don't even fully understand this fucking meme. It's pretty silly.
It's a country.
It's basically made of country, but
that internet trolls can qualify as an ethnicity.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes perfect sense.
Internet trolls fulfill every single
requirement
that the UK law requires you to qualify as an ethnicity.
Okay, that is pretty. That is pretty funny, actually.
Immigrate into UK before it leaves EU.
Well, obviously you don't need to. You just need to, be Kekistani. Well,
you can pose as a refugee.
I proudly, proclaim myself Kekistani. There seems to be a lot of perks, doing that.
There's constant war in Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, but that's a small price to pay for, all those mad Kekistani perks, like...
Praise and Kek.
I guess there's that. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Overwatching.
Thank you for watching me draw Turret Slut for, well, over an hour. Even though
she has OCD.
No. She doesn't have turrets. She's got sentries. And I do need to use the proper word. So thank you for watching me draw Sentry Slut. Rate, subscribe, like video. Unless you are really offended by that very last pun word. That I'm very serious when I use it.
If you are offended, you are probably a faggot.
Yeah. So yeah. So since you're probably a machinist, words complicate. Mechanist. There we go.
Someone who builds machines.
Yeah. Well, he does that. So if you're one of those people, make sure you to subscribe and like and whatnot.
So you
I
can
think
subscribe.
if I keep repeating this often enough, people will do it. So like, subscribe, and favorite. Like, subscribe, and favorite. Like, subscribe, favorite.
You know nobody watches these till the
Let's
end.
put it on signs in March. Like, subscribe, favorite.
Panboy.
Everyone
No,
likes a
no.
repetitive drill.
Panboy.
What do
know
we
that-
want?
Panboy.
Favorites.
You know that nobody watches this.
When do we want it?
Yeah.
Not just
Yes,
to the
right.
end, but at
Subscription.
all.
Yeah, so let's insult the viewers. You're all poopy heads, and you're all very mean people.
I wouldn't even rape you.
Hey,
Except
but what
me.
about future watchers after Artrix becomes super popular?
Yeah, this is gonna be used
People go
against
back in
me.
time to
but-
look at your original content,
Yeah.
and they just bleed out their eyes for
Yes.
hours.
But okay. So since we're making this hypothetical future, I'm going to say to my future self, "Fuck you, Artrix. Fuck
My
you.
desk fan.
You're
my
probably
fan-
pretty stupid and retarded."
You
And
already-
I'm much better now than I am you where you are now.
Present Artrix is best Artrix.
Yeah, present Artrix, best Artrix, and any future Artrix is
I
stupid
know
and
the
dumb.
future Artrix. He's a pretty cool guy. I mean, he has much less hair than you do, but he's
He
cool.
has a time machine. I mean, geez.
I'm gonna be like Picard from the Star Treks, and I'm going to trek all across the galaxy. And the only reason is because I have no hair on my skull.
No, Artrix. It's a Star Trek, not Galaxy Trek. You are going to trek across stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm gonna do it better. I'm gonna be Galaxy Trek. I'm going beyond the stars.
It's like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. Anyway, this is going on long enough. Well, bye.